Alexander Knight did not believe in fate. He believed in numbers, logic, power, and quiet rooms where no one could disappoint him. He was 32, the youngest CEO in the city, a man whose last name opened doors and whose silence closed them. People admired him, feared him, pretended to love him, but they never saw him. And in the solitude of his penthouse every night, even the city lights seemed to laugh at him. You have everything, except someone to come home to. He ignored the ache. He always did. A favor he didn't want to grant. Alex, you owe me. Ethan's voice burst through the phone, loud and dramatic as always. I owe you nothing, Alexander answered, flipping through financial reports. You do. Remember when I saved your laptop from falling off the yacht in Greece? You were the one who pushed it. Details, Ethan waved away. Bro, listen, I need a favor. A big one. Alexander pinched his nose. Ethan, I am stuck in Dubai and I'm supposed to meet this girl, a blind date set by her aunt. If I cancel, she'll think I'm some heartless jerk. You are. Yes, but she doesn't need to know that yet. Alexander's jaw tightened. He had meetings, a schedule, responsibilities. He couldn't go sit with a stranger in a cafe. But then Ethan added softly. She lost her father recently. Her family arranged this hoping she wouldn't feel alone. Just, please don't let her sit there waiting. A pause. Alexander closed his laptop slowly. He remembered the quietness of his own childhood mansion after his mother died. Long hallways, empty tables, silence that swallowed a lonely boy whole. Without changing his tone, he said, where? The little cafe that wasn't his world. The cafe was small, warm, and cozy, nothing like the crystal and glass restaurants Alexander usually frequented. No marble floors, no expensive perfume in the air. Just cinnamon, old books, fresh bread, and laughter. It felt unsettlingly human. He stepped inside, and heads turned. His presence always did that. But he ignored them. His eyes searched, until they found her. She sat near the window, tapping her foot nervously and whispering lines to herself. Her clothes were simple, a faded lavender dress and a well-worn bag. Her hair was tied in a loose ponytail, a few strands falling near her cheeks. Not glamorous, not polished, but there was something about her that felt soft, pure, like morning sunlight before the world wakes up. He approached quietly. She didn't notice. She was rehearsing. My name is Ayla. No, that's obvious. Say something interesting. I love reading. No, that's boring. Alexander allowed himself a tiny, rare smile. He cleared his throat softly. She jumped. Literally jumped. Oh, hi, you're Ethan. She stuttered. Her voice was gentle, awkward, endearing in a way that tugged at something inside him. Ethan couldn't make it, Alexander said calmly. I'm here, instead. She blinked, confusion clouding her warm eyes. Oh, so you're not actually the date? No, should I leave? I mean, I don't want to waste your time. Alexander sat down before she could stand. No, stay. She hesitated, then slowly sat again. Her hands fidgeted with the teacup. Thank you. I didn't want to eat alone. For a moment, her vulnerability hung in the air like a fragile glass ornament. And Alexander, the man who negotiated billion-dollar deals without blinking, felt oddly protective of this girl he'd known for less than a minute. Two lives in one conversation. She spoke first. So, what do you do? Usually people asked so they could measure his worth. Impress him. Benefit from him. But her eyes held curiosity, not calculation. I'm in business, he replied simply. Oh nice. Like a shop. He choked on air. A shop. The last time he managed a shop was probably when he bought an entire shopping mall because a shop irritated him. Something warm flickered in his chest, amusement. He hadn't felt that in years. No, he said, tone low. Something bigger than a shop. She giggled nervously. Sorry, I probably sound silly. I've never met someone from business. He studied her. She wasn't pretending. She wasn't trying to impress. She was just real. What do you do? He asked. Her eyes dropped, and she bit her lip. I work part-time at a bookstore, and part-time at a cafe across town. 2 jobs. His voice softened without his permission. She nodded. My mom's health hasn't been great. And my sister's in school. So I work as much as I can. No self-pity. Just simple fact. He felt something twist inside. He didn't pity her. He admired her. She took a breath. Do you think Ethan would like me? Alexander looked directly into her hopeful eyes. Yes, he said quietly. I like you, his heart whispered. Dash dash dash. A gentle storm of small moments. Time passed differently around her. She talked about favorite books, silly childhood memories, her dream to open a tiny reading cafe. How she loved rainy days. How life could be hard but beautiful. Every word painted a world far away from glittering ballrooms and cold boardrooms. And he listened. Really listened. Why aren't you talking much? She teased lightly after a while. I'm not used to conversations like this. Like what? Warm ones. Her eyes softened. Lonely hearts notice warmth first. His chest tightened. Did she see through him? Dash dash dash. A tear that changed everything. The bill arrived. Ayla pulled her small purse, hands shaking slightly. I hope I have enough, she whispered, embarrassed. Before she could count coins, Alexander placed money smoothly. You don't need to. She looked at him, eyes shining with something like gratitude and shame mixed. I don't like being a burden. You aren't. Still, she pushed one wrinkled bill toward him. Half. He gently pushed it back. It's just tea. Her eyes glistened. Not because of the money, but because someone treated her gently. Nobody ever taught Alexander how to comfort. But instinct made him say, very softly, you deserve someone who stays. Even when life isn't shiny. She froze. A tiny tear escaped before she wiped it quickly. I hope so, she whispered. One day, he felt that tear like a punch to his chest. Dash dash dash. The goodbye that didn't let go. Outside, wind brushed her hair across her face. She tucked it behind her ear shyly. Thank you for today, she murmured. You didn't have to be kind. But you were. I wasn't kind, he replied softly. I was honest. She smiled. Small, hopeful, brave. Then she walked toward a bus stop, hugging her thin coat closer. Alexander watched a girl with nothing walk with more dignity than millionaires he knew. Watched the bus pull up. Watched her disappear into a world he had never touched. And for the first time in his life, the powerful CEO didn't want to return to his empire. He wanted to follow her into that ordinary, imperfect world, where hearts mattered more than money. He stood in the cold evening air, hands in pockets, breath fogging in the wind. He didn't believe in fate. But tonight, fate believed in him. And it wore a lavender dress and carried hope in tired eyes. That night, Alexander couldn't sleep. His penthouse had floor-to-ceiling windows, a skyline worth billions, the silence of success. Yet all he could see was a girl with tired eyes and a hopeful heart sitting at a bus stop in the cold. Ayla didn't know him. Not his last name. Not his reputation. Not his empire. She only knew the version of him that was human, the one he barely remembered existed. And that terrified him. Dash dash dash. A return he couldn't explain. The next afternoon, he canceled a corporate luncheon that people waited weeks to attend. Canceled 3 board calls. Rescheduled investors from London. All for a bookstore with peeling paint and a crooked sign. He told himself it was curiosity. Research. Stress relief. But the truth, he wanted to see her smile again. A simple thing, but suddenly worth more than every business deal he'd ever closed. When he stepped inside the store, the bell chimed softly. A girl reading behind the counter looked up. Her eyes widened. You came. There was a quiet disbelief in her voice, like she wasn't used to people coming back. He nodded. I thought we could have tea. Or coffee. Or whatever you insist is the best in this town. Her lips curved. I only drink tea. Coffee tastes like burnt ambition. He chuckled. And that startled both of them. Alexander Knight never laughed freely. But here, walls that took years to build cracked like thin glass. Ayla grabbed her bag in a hurry. Give me a second. My shift ends in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. He waited without complaint. Something his staff would never believe. Dash dash dash. Tea on a park bench. They sat on a bench overlooking a small pond. Kids ran past, giggling. An old couple fed pigeons. Someone strummed a guitar in the distance. Life. Real life. Ayla handed him a paper cup. Careful, it's hot. He held it awkwardly. He'd never drunk tea from a paper cup. Everything in his world was glass, silver, curated. Try it, she urged. He sipped. It was sweet, and simple, and comforting. Not bad, he admitted. She beamed, proud as though she'd brewed the tea herself. Her truth. After a quiet moment, Ayla looked at him, nervous, as though preparing for rejection. I need to tell you something, she whispered. His heart stiffened. I know you came because Ethan couldn't. And I appreciate you being kind. But my life isn't easy. She took a shaky breath. My father passed away last year. My mother's health has been failing ever since. I pay the bills. I take care of my sister. I don't have time for fairy tales. Or people who are just curious for a moment and then disappear. Alexander heard the pain in every word. Quiet, dignified pain that didn't beg for sympathy. He looked at her gently. I don't plan to disappear. She gave a small, sad smile. People don't plan to. Life pulls them away. For the first time in years, Alexander felt helpless, not because of a corporate battle, but because he wanted to hold her burdens and didn't know how. Why he hid. He could tell her now, who he was. But fear gnawed at him. If she knew, would she still laugh freely with him? Would she still see Alexander, the quiet man with tired eyes, or the billionaire CEO? He wasn't ready to lose the only person who didn't flinch when looking at him. So instead, he asked softly, what do you dream of? She looked up, surprised. No one asked her that. A small cafe with books, homemade desserts, warm lights, a place where lonely people feel seen. His chest tightened. That dream was everything he never had. And you? She asked. What do you want? He stared at the pond, truth trembling on his tongue. I want a life that feels real. Ayla looked at him for a long time, understanding deeper than words. The world crashes in. Days passed. He stopped wearing designer suits when he met her. Borrowed Ethan's old car instead of arriving in a chauffeur-driven one. Turned off his phone during their conversations, something his entire company would faint hearing. He took her to cheap cafes, street food stalls, parks, the library, places he had never stepped in before. He saw life, not from penthouse glass, but from a park bench, shared sandwiches, late-night laughter. Every minute with her made him more human, more alive, and more afraid to lose it. But fate doesn't wait for courage. It tests it. The reveal he didn't want. One evening, as they walked near her street, a sleek black car stopped in front of them. A man in a suit stepped out. Mr. Knight, we have the documents you requested. Ayla's footsteps froze. Mr. Knight. Alexander closed his eyes briefly, the truth crashing over them like a wave. The assistant continued without noticing her shock. The board needs your signature before the Asia deal finalizes. And the private jet is fueled for tomorrow morning. Aaron, Alexander interrupted, voice low, tight. Go. Aaron noticed Ayla then. His face shifted, understanding dawning too late. He left instantly. Ayla's trembling voice broke the silence. Knight, as in Knight Industries. Alexander finally met her eyes. Yes. Her breath shook. You're Alexander Knight. Billionaire Alexander Knight. He nodded once. No pride, no arrogance, just fear. Her eyes filled with hurt, not because he was rich, but because he hid. You told me you were job hunting. I never said that, he tried to explain quietly. I just didn't correct you. That's the same as lying, she whispered. And lying means you didn't trust me. He stepped closer. I didn't want you to see money before you saw me. And you think I care about your money. Her voice cracked. Do you think I'd want you more, or less, because of it? Silence. Because he didn't know the answer. You didn't trust my heart, she whispered. He swallowed hard. I was afraid you'd treat me differently. And now I am treating you differently, she said softly, chairs gathering. But not because you're rich. Because you hid your truth. She turned away, wiping her cheeks quickly, proud even in heartbreak. I need time. His voice nearly broke. Ayla. She didn't look back. Good night, Alexander. And she walked away. Not toward a bus, but toward the small street where ordinary life waited. A life he now desperately wanted to be part of. He stood under the streetlight alone, watching the girl who taught him how to feel disappear into the world he wished he had been born into. Powerless, human, in love. For once, being a billionaire meant nothing. Because all the wealth in the world could not buy her trust back. Not unless he earned it, as the man she first met. Not as Alexander Knight, emperor of boardrooms. But as Alexander, a lonely heart learning how to love. To be continued.